Hey, Joe here with S3 Archery, and I can't tell you the number of times that we've had subscribers write to me and ask me, Joe, why do you crouch right before you take a shot? So I wanted to come to you today and I wanted to explain the reasons for doing so, and in the process, hopefully, give you a new technique that's going to make you a better shooter, have a lot more fun out there in the field and hunting. So stick around, I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. Alright, so the crouch. What are we talking about here? For anybody who follows our channel, you know exactly what we're talking about. But if you're a newcomer to our channel, first off, welcome to S3 Archery. And second off, what we're talking about here is when I take a shot, right before I shoot, I'm looking at the target and I have straight legs, pretty relaxed, and then right before I shoot, I get down into a crouched position and then I start my shot process. So that's what we're talking about in this video. So I wanted to go through, tell the history of it, and then talk about the advantages that I've found with this technique in the past 2 years of doing it. So starting off, the history behind it really. As many of you know, Dan and I follow Fred Asbell very, very closely, especially when we first started off here in traditional archery. And our canvas, if you will, was fairly blank and we didn't have a lot of information to go off of. We read all of Fred's books, we attended a seminar, and in doing all these things, we started getting kind of the building blocks, the foundation of all of the things that Dan and I build upon now in the current day. So this is one of the techniques that he teaches in all of his books and at his seminars. And he has a little bit different slant to it, but this is where the idea was kind of planted in our minds to start doing it. So for Fred Asbell, the reason that you do a crouch is for intense concentration. It helps narrow in your vision on a single object and makes you a better instinctive archer, because instinctive archery is all about concentration and hitting a single little spot that you're looking at. So all of you can do this at home right now. Feel free, stand up, and if you're just looking at an object or looking at the computer screen in a relaxed, straight up and down stance, you see it, but there's still a lot of stuff going on in your periphery. There's distractions, if you will. So if I'm out in the woods right now and I can see some birds flying around behind the camera, and I can see that there's some leaves moving over here, and there's just a lot going on, even though I'm looking at the camera still, my level of concentration is maybe only 50%. The moment that I go down into a crouched position, more of an athletic position, kind of like a shortstop in baseball, that vision narrows in, and now I'm at maybe like 75, 80% looking at the camera. And if you want to add to that even, just kind of frown at the camera a little bit, or frown at your computer screen or whatever it is that you're looking at, just to kind of give it a little bit of a frown like you're angry at it, and you'll see that your peripheral vision narrows in even more. So we're getting closer and closer to fixating on only one single object, trying to get rid of all the distractions to what's around us. So that's Fred's slant on this technique, and it's very effective in doing that. But I've also found a lot of other great techniques, or great advantages to doing this, that I wanted to talk about. So first advantage that I've found beyond intense concentration is it's becoming part of your shot routine, shot process. So the more touch points that we can have, the more reference points in our shot process, I think the more repeatable we're going to be in shooting. And the more repeatable we can be in shooting, the quicker we're going to learn archery, and the quicker we're going to learn instinctive archery, more specifically, and the better we're going to become. So when I shoot, my shot process is I get perpendicular to the target, I check that, then I go ahead and I start concentrating on my grip, make sure that the grip on my bow is perfect, then I get my string hand, perfect on the string, I look at my target and start to focus in on it, not too intense, but just looking at it, getting used to looking at it, and then I go down into that crouch position, and then I start my shot process. So I have all these different touch points to make sure I have like a checklist to be very repeatable for every single shot. I'll never just see a target walk up and just shoot like that. It's like I have my shot process. It's not that I can't do it, it's just that if I want optimal performance I'm going to have these different touch points. So that's number one, is repeatability in your shooting. So that's a huge, huge point. The second thing that I found, and I know everybody knows this from watching the videos, is I'm a huge proponent of having the cant of your bow the exact same angle as your spine. So when I shoot, my shooting pretty much looks like this. So my spine angle's not that bent, but neither is my cant. But I don't look like this. So everything's pretty in line with one another. And the reason that this crouching position helps with that is if you have a very straight up and down stance, if you have your cant straight up and down, okay, whatever, it's great. But as soon as you cant it, the only way to really get your body at the same angle as that is to roll your shoulders over, and you're in a very unathletic position. It just doesn't look right, and it puts all the physics behind having back tension and getting in line with the shot. It kind of throws it out the window. You just don't want to do it. But a lot of people you'll probably see look like this when they shoot, rather than having a really nice straight back and straight spine angle. So in doing the crouch, it gets you in an athletic position. So like I said, like a shortstop or like a golfer, when you're just standing upright straight, the only way to get your cant and your spine angle to be the same is you're going to have to bend at the hip. But that doesn't feel right to bend over. You kind of lose your balance. But if you bend your knees and you kind of get into that shortstop position, like you're ready to catch a baseball, you'll just find naturally a position that's comfortable to you. And then you look at that spine angle and you get your cant to be the same at the bow, and it becomes very repeatable. You just don't have to think about it for your shooting once you've learned this technique. As long as you bend your knees the same way every time, and you can kind of feel it, you bend your knees and your spine just kind of bends over, your posture changes a little bit, and then you put your bow up and you get the same level of cant every time. Once again, repeatableness. We're repeating the same thing over and over again. It makes you a better archer. So that's really number two, is getting that spine angle the exact same every single time. The third thing that I've found is balance. So it's not something that people probably think about that much when you're shooting archery, but I shoot a lot of arrows every single day. And the thing that I've noticed is if I ever lose my balance a little bit, or if I'm on uneven ground, you'll almost like being in the wind, your body is just moving the slightest amount. It's not, it doesn't have to be sudden movements. It's more just this constant rebalancing of your body. I don't know if you can pick up on it, but my body just kind of swaying back and forth, side to side. And when you're shooting 20, 30, 40 yard shots, it makes a really big difference. So the more solid and planted to the ground we can be, the better we're going to shoot. So by getting in that athletic position, we really center ourselves and we get very, very balanced, that it doesn't matter if we're on a side hill or if it's uphill, downhill, we're going to be able to stabilize our bodies and prevent ourselves from swaying. So another really, really big advantage to having those knees bent. And then similar to that point, but a whole different point that I want to point out, point number 4, is I'm going to back up just a little bit, and there's some uneven ground here. It's going uphill. If you're shooting with straight legs and you are on an uphill slant, let's say, or side hill, it doesn't matter what the angle is, it's just going to be the same thing. But in this example, we're shooting uphill. If I shoot with straight legs, you'll see that my shoulders, if I put my bow up here, my shoulders are kind of aiming up with that hill, and everything is positioned to be shooting at something up this way. So if I try to shoot down, my shoulders are going to come over, they're going to bend over, I'm going to have poor form again, and I'm going to probably not shoot very well. Where if I go ahead and I bend my knees, I can bend that front knee more than the back knee, and instantly I can get my shoulders level to the ground. So I don't want to be up like this. I'm going to bend my knee and I'm going to get my shoulders back down. And once again, it's all about getting that same posture no matter where you are. So it doesn't matter if I'm shooting from this uphill position, I can go like this and my shoulders are nice and level. I can turn around and now I'm going to be going downhill and you'll see my shoulders initially pointing down, and then I can bend the back knee more and I'll level it out. So I'll go like this. There I am. But if I just crouch down, now I get my shoulders level again. So by being able to adjust your stance with your legs, the non-shooting part of your body really, now I can focus on having the exact same form with the core of my body that's doing the shooting. So all of these things lead up to having the exact same shooting every single time. So we get better concentration, we get our spine angle to be the same, we get better balance, and we are able to get our posture to be the same regardless of the terrain. So these are all the advantages of crouching. I hope you give it a try. I think you're going to find it's going to make you a better instinctive archer very, very quickly. But give it a try for a week or two, and then come back and post comments underneath this video and let me know if it works. So I found it to be very beneficial to my shooting. Dan does it in his shooting as well, and he's found it very beneficial. And I think you're going to find it beneficial as well. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, shoot straight, have fun.